Hi everybody, this is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. As I told you on my last video, we're going to be moving soon. We're going to be moving from this 14-acre property that we have on a lake, and we're going to be moving about 20 miles away to a little 2-acre piece of property that we found. We really love it. My husband's been making me drive him out there every day to just sit on it. We've had some friends meet us up there. And we just kind of go and look around every day and dream a little bit, and then we come back home. And I have been working hard, hot and heavy and hard at getting this house ready to sell. I have been scrubbing everything. I've been up on ladders. I took the big ladder out of the house today and put it out in the shed because I'm done with it. I can feel myself winding down. It's just starting to feel so good in here. Things that I just had not gotten to in the last year and a half. Since Richard's stroke, I've kept the house maintained. I love a clean house, but the deep cleaning that you do sometimes has not gotten done. The baseboards, just worrying about little spider webs up on the ceiling, cleaning the light fixtures, none of that's been getting done, I'll admit. So I've been doing it now. I've been doing it this last week. It's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. In the last couple of days, we've had a couple of rain showers. So I went outside in the evening and went ahead and started on some of the outside stuff just to take advantage of those little cool breezes that have come in after some of these rainstorms have passed by, because it has just been so hot and just too hot during the day for me to really accomplish anything out there. If I were to go out there and work an hour or two, it would zap me for the evening. And in the evening is when I've been really getting a lot done. That's when I've been cleaning and up on ladders and touch up painting and everything. During the heat of the day is usually when we run errands. I go get paint, I go get shower curtain liners, I go get anything like that that I need to kind of spruce everything up. And when that heat kind of starts subsiding in the evening, Richard goes out on the four-wheeler and I get in here and just hit it. And he comes in later. I have to get him supper, but then I keep on working. The last couple of nights I've stayed up to 12, 1, 2, and not went to bed till then, trying to get things done. I'm gonna hit the outside starting tomorrow because I think I can wrap the inside up tonight. But the reason I'm in here now, I could be outside because it is a little cool. I could be out in the yard, but I have the house to myself right this moment. It's quiet, and I thought I might just do a little video to show you my pantry. When we move, if we move, I'm gonna miss this pantry. I love my pantry. I designed it, and anything in my house, except for like closets, I guess, but any room in my house, I try to make it me, and I try to make it peaceful and a room that I don't mind being in. You don't want to just get this sinking feeling every time you walk into a washroom or a pantry because it's so junky and ugly and you can't find anything. I've tried and tried to make the rooms in my house feel nice to me, paint them a good color. I even have some artwork in my pantry because I just love artwork and it's a good place for me to hang it. But I wanted to show it to you tonight. This isn't the normal kind of pantry tour where I'm going to say I have 4 jars of this and 10 jars of that. That's not what I'm really doing tonight. I just want to show you my room because it's special to me. And I want to just show you a couple of things I did even after I designed the pantry, but after we built the house and after you live somewhere a while, you start realizing where your deficits are, where you may have wasted a little space, or where you can capitalize on some space. So that's what I wanted to show you tonight, is how I tried to capitalize a little bit on some space. And it's nothing you couldn't do at your own house, depending on how your pantry's laid out, or grab some space in your washroom, or anywhere in your house you can do things to have the space to store, especially now that everybody's trying to can and everybody's trying to put back food and buy things on sale and stock up. You start running out of room and your house can start feeling just not good. You're satisfied that you put back this food, but then if your house starts feeling real junky, it can kind of wear you down. And so anyway, I just thought, let me show you my little pantry tonight. Maybe there's some little idea you can take away from it. It's not perfect. It's definitely not huge. I just tried to use the space as best I could and to also make it pretty, because I have to kind of make it pretty because as you can see behind me, I've got a screen door on it, and the screen door you can see through. Normally that light in the pantry is out, and you can't necessarily just see everything when you're sitting in my kitchen or walking by. But I've got the light on in there now, and when the light's on, you can see in there. So I try to kind of keep it somewhat clean. It's not perfect, but come on in with me and I'll show you my pantry. This is my screen door that I picked out. I got it just from Lowe's. It came in natural wood, so I had to paint it white, and we hung it. And I put the same color knobs on it as I have like in the other parts of my house, the little bronze knobs and everything. I love this screen door. I love hearing it slam. I do prop it open with a chair a lot if I'm gonna be going in and out a lot with groceries or to do clothes, because my washroom is off the side of this pantry. But I also like when it's shut, and I like to hear it opening and shutting when my son goes in and out and everything. It's just that feeling of having that screen door in your house. So if you can do that on your pantry to make it just feel that homey feeling, you know, give it a try. I think this door was only a couple of $100s. I had it shipped to Lowe's. I went and picked it up myself and painted it myself, but it's easily doable. Now, when you come into my pantry with a camera, it kind of makes it look longer than it is. I think it's only about 9 foot long. Let me say though, these shelves right here, these shelves that I have a lot of my pressure canned items on, those shelves were not here. I'll tell you about those in a little bit. What I designed when I designed the pantry was I designed this back wall here. What I did was I came in here and found studs on the wall and figured out exactly where this stud would be. And so that's how I knew how wide to make them. The reason I'm saying that, and I don't want to offend any man that's watching this video, but I just didn't trust my two male builders, a man and his brother that were building our house. I didn't really want to trust them with reading my mind on what I wanted for my pantry. So I got paper and pen out, just school paper, and I came in here and measured and found where the studs were, and I drew out everything down to the last little bit on how I wanted this pantry. But I did the foyer wall in the drawings, and then when you turn the corner, this is called the back wall, and then when you turn this corner, this is called the washroom wall, because it backs up to my washroom. When you walk into my pantry from my kitchen, you take a right and there's my washroom. See, I have some more storage in there for canned goods. I'm going to show you a little bit more about this room in just a second because I found some real estate in here to use. What I've done is just arrange things in the best way that I could for how my mind works, how I use my house, how I walk in here, what I'm looking for. And I designed these shelves just for jar food. I'll tell you about that in a minute. These shelves were just 12-inch deep shelves. Of course, the top is just the top of the shelf up there. And I put taller things up there sometimes. Sometimes I put things I don't often use up there, but right now I'm trying to utilize every square inch of this and get things organized somewhat because our house is going to be shown. So right now I have taco shells and cereal up there that I normally wouldn't have. But on the other shelves, I kind of use this shelf as my baking shelf. I have lots of cake mixes stacked there, crackers, grits, Bisquick, the non-fat dry milk, the flakes. I have a ton of sugar. And then down here, I have a lot of baking things like marshmallows and powdered sugar and brown sugar and cocoa and some cake flour, stuff like that. On these shelves, what I did was, I just did this the other day. So far, it's working well. I can't believe I didn't do it a long time ago. A lot of people have already done things like this. But I separated all my canned goods into years. Like I said, I should have done that a long time ago. And from right here, just because that's where it ended, is 2020 to 2021. I did 2023 from here all the way to the end down there. Had a lot of 2023s. I went down And on this shelf down here is my 2022, and I drew an arrow. This tape's coming off here. On this shelf here over is 2024 cans. And what I'm trying to do, I want to, but I haven't actually been doing tons of cooking because I've been so busy getting the house ready. I've just been doing quick stuff and even picked up food a couple of nights. But what I'm trying to do is just make myself deliberately attack these cans first and start using up all of my 2020 and 2021 canned goods. So I'm just going to, try my best to plan meals around what I have here and use them up. Everything is pretty organized. I did have to roll some things together just to fit everything on the shelf. But your tomato sausage, your corn, your beans, here's kind of my Mexican aisle, my rotel, peaches, things like that. And then over here on this side is just anything miscellaneous that I ended up with. I kind of remind myself of that movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. I don't know if you remember, Julia Roberts' husband was a neat freak, and everything had to be, the labels had to be facing the front and everything had to be organized. And I think about that sometimes when I walk into my own pantry, because I'm like, is this normal? Is this normal? Everything over here is pretty much stacked and perfect and normal, so I wonder, am I normal or am I crazy? But if you're out there and you have a pantry that's organized like this, you understand. And I'm trusting that there's lots of people that are. I put things like Crisco. They are organized how I stacked them as far as years, but they don't necessarily correspond to 2022 or 2024. I'm just storing those there in the middle. But everything to the right of that is 2024. This shelf down here is nothing but condiments. And down at the other end is all of my chicken broth. And there again, I tried my best to just put everything in the correct order. And it really does help, because when you go to use something, you're grabbing the oldest one first, and it really and truly helps you to rotate if you'll keep it organized. Down at the bottom, lots of mayonnaise, some salad dressings, just some miscellaneous things down there, pudding mixes and stuff. So that is the tall shelf, and it has been a godsend. It's helped me so much to be able to store a lot of things. I would encourage people, of course, you need a brace like this down the middle of any long shelf like that. You cannot have canned goods stacked all the way across a 6 or 8 foot span like that without having a brace in the middle. And I also, if you can see them, I also put metal braces like that above and below each shelf. I would highly recommend that. You just don't want to have a disaster of the shelves collapsing with the weight of things. But these have held up wonderful. They've done well. These shelves over here I added later because I really got into canning, pressure canning, around 2019 and 2020. 2020, I really did a lot. I pressure canned a lot in 2020. And when that happens, you just start having food everywhere. I was pretty much just putting it back in the boxes that the jars came in, and then I was putting them on the floor. But you can't stack these items on top of each other. You have to leave them single without stacking. And so I ended up with just a lot of stuff kind of around the washroom and all on the floor, and I just don't like that. I don't even want to see them sitting there just getting dusty and everything. So I decided that I had left this wall empty when I built this, because I was thinking that you would need room to get a washer and a dryer in and items like that. So I didn't want to have anything that would obstruct, and I didn't want that shelf to come this far because it would be too wide and it would obstruct this doorway. But later on, I'd just kind of sit in there and eat, and I'd look in here and I would think, if I made the shelves narrower, that would work. So what I did was, this first shelf, I came off, I dropped in a few inches, I came off, and I made this first shelf. And I think I put like 1x8 shelves here. So they're only like 7 something deep. But I designed it to where in height wise, they fit pint jars. And with that size board, you can put 2 jars front and back. So you can put 2 jars in front of each other. So I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's 9 potential shelves. One of them is the top shelf, but it's a potential shelf. 9 shelves. And let's see, I have 3, 6, 7 times 2, because I can fit 2 on each shelf, so that's 14. I'm fixing to have to multiply 14 times 9. Let's see. Is that 126? 9 times 4 is 36. Yeah, I believe that's 126 jars that I now can fit there. And that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. I couldn't ask for any more than that. That's wonderful. So what is 126 divided by 12 for a dozen? 10? I don't know. I think it's like 10 dozen. Does that equal 10 dozen jars? Why am I doing math on my video? I'm not the easiest person to do math, mental math. So anyway, but I think anyway, what I'm trying to say is, in this little space that only took up 8 inches deep on my wall and is only just a couple of feet wide, I was able to fit 126 potential jars there. Right now I have some quart jars up here, so I don't necessarily have 7 across and blah, 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 but I could if I wanted to. Up here I have some dehydrated stuff, some pork that is from 2019. It's one of the only meats I have left from 2019 I haven't used up, so I put it front and center there so I'll remember to use it. This shelf right here, I dropped in a little bit and made this shelf. I think I used a 1x6 to do the shelves on this. And it's really designed just to have quart jars. I was able to just kind of fit a few of these little carrot jars if I wedged them in between the 2 jars and just fit some of those on there, but I'm not necessarily going to do that all the time. But I was able to I call it staircasing these shelves, because what they're doing is they're getting narrower and narrower. So by the time it's over with, it's only a few inches out from my wall right here, and it doesn't interfere with walking in and out of my washroom. I should have really figured that out a long time ago, but I just didn't realize it until after I was in the house and after I started canning, and I just needed a place to put so many jars. So let me see. I can fit 3, 6. I can fit 6 quart jars on each row, and I have the potential for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 42 quart jars that can just go on that little 6-inch deep shelf. And I'm 5'9". I guess these shelves are about 5 foot tall. So a 5 foot tall shelf, 6 inches deep, can hold that many jars. I mean, that's, to me, I bought real estate in my house. That's the way I kind of look at everything. You know, what kind of real estate can you reclaim in your house from space you're not even using and make great storage? I just wanted to continue on and show you the rest of this, just so you'll see it. Instead of having just white utilitarian shelves all the way around this washroom, I kind of wanted the view from the kitchen to look a little more, I guess, in my mind, kind of like a little French pantry, a little French kitchen. I don't know. That's what I kind of had in my mind at the time. But we just built these simple shelves. My builder did. I didn't really know what I was going to put on the shelves. I probably could have put them a little bit closer together, just a little bit, and then ended up with maybe an extra shelf somewhere. Because there again, you don't stack these quart jars. So I see this blank space up here as lost real estate. And I really, I think to myself, how can I reclaim that? I could reclaim it by putting something else there and putting my jars somewhere else. But I don't. I mean, it's working for me right now. Everything's fitting right now. This side, more jars, some cans and more stuff at the top. And then I just bought these cheap bowls at my little grocery store I go to. Nothing, no big deal, nothing to them. But I keep all of my spice mixes and stuff in these bowls. Works out great. That one's Sloppy Joe and ranch mixes. This one's taco, fajita, and beef stew mixes. Chili and spaghetti mixes. Chicken gravy, just chicken gravy. I buy a lot of those, and I use a lot of those packets for different things. Brown gravy mix, and all juice and pork and turkey gravy mixes. And when I was cleaning the other night, I found even more mixes that I had stored in different jars I didn't even realize I had. So that kind of keeps me organized with those little bowls, and it's working out so much better than what I used to do, which was nothing. I used to just kind of stack them on top of all my canned goods. Now these shelves have kind of gotten a little crowded because, like everybody else, I've been buying a lot lately. I've been buying a lot of things to store. I find one of the best things just to buy is tortillas. I didn't ever realize, I always thought tortillas were like bread and you had to kind of buy them and use them quick. But a lot of those don't expire for sometimes a year. So tortillas are just so easy to throw something together for breakfast, for supper, whenever. So I try to keep a lot of them. We're in Louisiana. A lot of gumbo mixes back there. A whole bowl of gumbo mixes. Just lots of different things. I make homemade jellies. That's some jelly and some okra I've got sharing that same little tin. This is all pastas here. Just nothing but pasta in there and in that corner box as well. Now for this end part right here, you might wonder, why didn't you take these shelves and come on to this door frame? Which would have been great. I could have put a whole lot more stuff there. However, this door is a pocket door. So it goes into that wall, and the way they frame pocket doors is different. They have to take and not have a stud in that part of the wall because the door has to go in and out. So knowing that, I had found where the stud was, where they finally did have a stud, and that's where I told my builder to stop those shelves. So I was able to get 3 shelves on that wall and just stop them right there. So this space down here was open, and I always just had things there. I mean, I used the space. But then I just ran across this little thing at an antique shop one day, and it's basically just one of those little metal shelves that people probably used to just have in bathrooms to stack towels on. But I bought it for next to nothing, and I just use it to put all kind of stuff on, all kind of spices. I have all my beans that I grew last year, some of the little beans that I was able to save. I could plant those as seeds, but I just kind of saved them. I'm going to try them and eat them. And garlic, just everything. There, so much fits on this shelf, and it's really come in handy. So that's another good pointer, is if you can find little shelves like that, repurpose them, bring them in your pantry and use them in any way that you can. I could hang this up if I wanted to, but there again, there's no stud in that wall to anchor it to, so it would have to be placed somewhere else. Just to show you my little art, I painted that many years ago. It's basically just all the things you would need to make some gumbo, and I just kind of painted it with a little gumbo pot many years ago. That is a painting of Morning Glories on a fence. I painted that many years ago, right when my kids were little. And it's okay. My husband likes it, and he wanted me to put it in this house whenever we moved in. So I just stuck it in the pantry. And on this end, I just have a photograph that I purchased. It's of a lake with some ducks on it. And I just really liked it. It reminded me of our lake out here. So I bought that and put it in here. And I love looking at it whenever I come in and out of my pantry. Now, going into my washroom, what I wanted to show you was, I had featured this in another video, but my sister had just found a metal shelf in their shed that they weren't going to use anymore, and they were cleaning out. So she gave it to me, and boy, look at what all it holds. It's about 3 jars deep. I can go with my quart jars on it. And this is where I chose to put my 2025 and 2026 canned goods. I don't have a ton of those yet. I do look for the dates, and if I can buy as far out as possible, I do. But this is all I've managed to gather so far for 2025 and 2026. But, so I put that in here, because I'll get to it later as far as eating. And then I just put all my different canned goods, and I've got the dates on the front so that I can try to use them as quick as possible. Still have pickles from 2020. One of the other things I did, I'm going to back up so I can kind of show you. We had put this little clothes rack here years ago because my son played football, and every day when we got home from football, you know how that goes. His clothes were just covered with sweat and grit, and we would tell him go straight to the washroom and strip down, and then go get you a shower. So every day we were washing all of his practice stuff. So we put a rack here that we could hang it on to dry overnight so that it was easy to grab the next morning to put back in his duffel bag to go back to school to get dirty again. So I thought, what if I utilized the space above that rack, because it was not being used at all, and what if I built a shelf to be able to put more canned goods up there? So that's what I did. And if you'll notice, each hole in the shelving unit fits a flat, which is 12, of pint jars. So between the 9 holes that are in the shelves plus the top part that's empty up there, I can fit 12 dozen pint jars in that shelving area. I made it very, very secure. There's cleats on the wall on every shelf. It's solid. It'll hold them. I've had it full. I only took them down because my sister gave me that. So all the items from 2021, I moved down to this shelf. And then right now, what I'm putting up there are things I'm canning for 2022. Right now, all I've got up there is some potatoes, some sweet pickles, and then some ground meat and potatoes right there. So anyway, I'm just kind of using the rest of this wall before we move as an empty space to store our water and different things. I want the washroom to kind of look as open as possible when a buyer comes in. I hope you enjoyed my little tour of my pantry. I'm going to miss having this pantry. I'm going to have to get very creative wherever we end up living. I know the property we're going to live on, but I don't know if we're going to end up with a mobile home, if it's going to be a single wide, a double wide. I'm even looking at modular homes right now. And I even met a man a couple of days ago that drove up to our house that's a builder, and he was very nice and kind, and that's still an option. It's not what my husband wants to do. He's ready to get on the property and live there, but it's under discussion. We'll talk about it. But no matter what I do, I will get creative, and I'll try to find real estate in my other home, whatever that might be, to put the food and all, because it's so important to have extra food right now. It's so important. I went to the grocery store today, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, but every time I go to the grocery store, I'm still shocked at the prices. It's just getting bad, and I can buy things that I need. If I need eggs, I just get eggs. Today, 18 eggs was $5.69 at my store. For the extra large eggs, 18 extra large eggs was $5.69, and that's what I usually buy. But the large ones were $4.99, and I said to myself today, I'm just going to get the large. I'm just getting the large. I could have bought the extra large. That's not a problem for me, but it's just, you gotta say no sometimes. You just can't keep paying these prices that are going up and up and up all the time. You have to just start moderating, rationing a little bit, and trying to kind of keep those prices down. There was something else I looked at, I can't remember what it was, and it was flour. The gold medal flour at the store I go to for a 5-pound bag of gold medal self-rising flour was $6.29. Now the store brand was $3.99 or something like that, which is still high. $3.99 for a bag of flour. I buy it on sale, or used to buy it on sale all the time for $1.99 a bag. So, but if you wanted the gold medal brand, if that's what you were accustomed to buying, it is now $6.29 for a 5-pound bag where I shop. That's high, and people can't pay that. A lot of families cannot pay that. And if you want cooking oil and things like that, oh my goodness. I've got a cabinet in my kitchen where, thankfully, when cooking oil would go on sale over the last year, I was loading up, and I don't have to pay those prices right now. But a lot of people don't load up like that, and they are looking at cooking oil that's $4.99 to $6 for one of those little half-gallon cooking oils. So it's a shame. But if you can get sales, and if you can start preserving, and you can start canning, and you can make your house a good little storage section for your food, and reclaim real estate anywhere you can, in the tops of closets, anywhere you can, invest in some boards, find some scrap lumber, and put up some shelves, and have a place to store, and just keep canning, keep putting food back, keep buying, keep prepping, because it doesn't look like prices are going to go down for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, I've been hearing that 2023 was going to be really tough. So please keep storing. And I hope my little tour of my pantry encourages you. I hope it gives you some ideas. I hope you don't think I'm weird because everything's so organized. I like doing things like that. It's not always like that. It's not always like that. It gets out of hand sometimes. It gets a life of its own and just starts getting crazy. But I do try to come in here at least a couple times a year and rein it back in, because I want to be able to walk in here and know what I've got. It saves you money to know what you've got. You don't have to wonder if you have enough corn. You don't have to buy it when you're out because you don't know if you have any. If you keep things organized, you know what you have, and it can save you so much money on the back end. So this is Lainey with Camp Joy Farms. I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you want to, and follow my channel. And I'm going to try to keep you up to date with our move, keep you up to date with what all I'm working on. And it's getting exciting times, and I'm enjoying it. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.